Hi everyone, this is Dan, and this is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue number 9, Assault on Galactus. Anyway, we've got only 3 more issues to go, and we're done with Secret Wars, which will be kind of a milestone for my channel in this whole year in total. I did every issue that led into Secret Wars, and then every issue of Secret Wars. So a big chunk of 1980s Marvel right there that I finished this year. Anyhow, let's get into this. So again, written by Jim Shooter, penciled by Mike Zeck, John Beatty on inks, Joe Rosen lettered this, Christy Scheel was the colorist. This was edited by Tom DeFalco. So we jump into this, and last issue, Professor Xavier was warning the Avengers that Galactus was beginning his assault on the planet. So the X-Men, being the sort of expeditionary force of this issue, jumps into action and does their best to try to stall Galactus, rather futilely for that part. Again, Jim Shooter really doesn't cut the X-Men any slack in this series. There is a turnaround point for the X-Men, but in this particular instance, they try to stall Galactus before they essentially get nuked. And then the Avengers slowly make it there, little by little. We get a little bit of inner monologuing here, or dialogue here with the Thing, Ben Grimm getting a little pissed off about why his powers aren't being consistent, and Spider-Man getting hyped up about his new symbiote costume, which he doesn't know yet is a symbiote costume. And then there's a little bit of like questions, everybody trying to figure out what's going on. This issue itself is actually mainly focused on the Fantastic Four. And not just Ben Grimm, but also really Reed Richards here going on and really trying to understand what the hell is going on, who is the Beyonder, why does he want all this stuff. Sort of Richards' inner scientist working here, trying to figure out what is the meaning behind all of this stuff. The Avengers arrive, they get into action, they go out and try to fight Galactus, but for the most part they get the shit wiped out of them. And up at this point, Mr. Fantastic has like this weird turnaround point where all of a sudden he tells everybody to stop fighting. And this is kind of weird. I think what Jim Shooter wanted to do was probably have more pages to explain what the hell is going on here, or maybe he was just leaving it as an open plot thread. But it comes off as really weird in the middle of the action and kind of breaks things up in the middle of this issue. But then Mr. Fantastic gets sucked into the world ship of Galactus, and you get this really cool scene here with Galactus showing him what's going on back on Earth, and then having a conversation with him that isn't revealed in terms of what's going on here. Meanwhile, back at Doom Base, Dr. Doom is plotting some more plots, to say the least. He brings this annoying character Claw along for a little plan of his that he has going on while everyone else is fighting Galactus. Colossus catches up with the X-Men, who managed to survive getting nuked, which is pretty interesting. Everyone goes back into the village since Galactus has kind of stopped, and they're all talking with Richards and asking him what happened when he got sucked into Galactus' spaceship. And Richards kind of tells them, hey, what we should do is let Galactus just eat the planet, because that way the Beyonder will give him everything he wants, and the Beyonder will essentially end Galactus' hunger, and that would save the universe and trillions of lives, because Galactus eats planets for the most part. Very noble, but pretty much everyone else is like, yeah, I'm not going to die on this planet. Thanks, Richards. They bounce out, which kind of makes it almost a pointless plot thread. But maybe it was something he was also trying to tie in with John Byrne's run that was going on right now. Not really sure, but it comes off as a little weird. That being said, the character writing for Richards, Galactus, and Thing is really well done. I think Shooter kind of gets the Fantastic Four pretty well. Same thing with Doom. Doom, once again, is written very well in this issue. Jim Shooter really must have had a knack for Dr. Doom, because he really gets this character very well, and it shows definitely in the next couple issues. So he dissects Claw and essentially uses him for to create a contraption right here to try to trap Galactus' power. Meanwhile, all of our heroes make an all-out assault on Galactus, and Richards decides to change his mind and say, all right, you know what, forget it. I was wrong. I don't really want to die on this planet. Let's go fight this guy. Of course, it's not really easy for our heroes. All of the combined power of the Marvel superhero universe can't hold it against Galactus. Clearly, none of these guys have ever played Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3, but that's okay. So we jump through this, and while they're fighting, they kind of get the jump on Galactus and almost disable him, but he runs away because he's about to absorb a bunch of power in his world ship and come back and nuke everybody. But while he's activating his world ship, he doesn't realize that that Doom has planned for this, and using Claw, who he has dissected and turned into a bunch of basically energy lenses to a degree, kind of a leap of faith here that Shooter has. He's able to essentially steal all of the energy that Galactus has in his world ship, which leads into very interesting drama in the next issue. And this is a short review, and it's a short issue for the most part. Don't worry, I'll be jumping into issue 10, 11, and 12 very quickly before the end of the year. I don't know necessarily if I'll have sequential art for all of those, but I will have at least illustrations to go with it. But anyhow, yeah, that is issue 9 in a nutshell. And let's get to the art. So this art right here, I based it off of essentially this scene with Reed Richards getting sucked into the world ship. And I was mainly trying to mess with, do more perspective work and kind of learn from it. So this right here was kind of like me messing with what is space. Like, obviously, if I finished this, I would ink the entire background for, the blackness and emptiness of space. I was trying to kind of do some wacky Kirby shit with the world, with the Galactus's infinity ship to a degree. I'm like falling in love with these sort of light effects. I kind of love doing this now because it's just, you get out essentially a stencil or a guide for circles, and you just kind of have fun up and down a perspective line. It's really cool and fun. So this one right here, not so hot. I don't know why I drew this pathway this way. This actually would have held a lot more weight if I didn't draw this stupid pathway to this teleporter tube right here. So there's Richards right here. He turns around and finds Galactus Richards looking at him. This is actually, if you can see, this is 3-point perspective because I wanted to kind of showcase, an almost ominous kind of gloom. Looking back on it now, I should have jammed the angle even tighter, like made Reed just basically look up to this, freaking behemoth of a being right here, and I think it would have looked a lot cooler. Also, in general, not exactly the greatest penciling work on his body right here. That one I'm going to have to go back and kind of rethink. This is actually the first time I've ever drawn Galactus, so it was kind of interesting in that way. But the rest of this, right, like this frustrated the hell out of me. It's still wrong, like very wrong in many areas, but I got to the point where I just got so angry. I was just like, I'm not just drawing this expression correctly. And yeah, I'm just gonna have to sit down and just work on expressions for a while when I get back to doing more figure work. This was more an exercise in working on just backgrounds and perspective, more different angles. But yeah, not happy about this one in particular. But, it kind of, it is what it is. I still like this panel. I think the idea here was correct. And I think, not to, begrudge the original comic. The original comic was obviously fantastic. And, not claiming to be Mike Zeck here. But I thought when Reed got sucked into the ship, it would have been a lot cooler for Reed to be right there, kind of like underneath the presence of Galactus. I mean, this panel's cool, but a lot of this background is just like, kind of Kirby stuff. I think it would have been cooler to just kind of look up and see like more intense inking, right? But anyhow, that's the video. Let me know what you think. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. You got any comments about Marvel Superhero Secret Wars number 9 or this art? Leave it down below, and I will see you next time.